Far From Home
till Santa
by Rebecca.
comes with deer and sleigh.
Last Wake Delta 5. Oh, it's gone. Change direction with mouse? On like a drone or something? You mean 2021? The fence at the end of this tunnel is impenetrable. It looks like this section collapsed as well, but I can still sense a draft coming from beyond. How do I get through? Log stat. Entry. I haven't eaten well in days. I can't find a way through the large fence, and all my tools are spent. Danny is low on power and needs to charge for months before he can boot up again. I'm going to try to go back without him. I will log my progress at the drone station so that he can find me when he boots up. Sorry, buddy. You've been good to me, and I'll send for you when I reach safety. Actually kind of cozy down here. I just hope my supply calls haven't reached the colony, or have reached the colony. Hope everything is alright back home. A ukulele. Actually, it's a guitar. A very small guitar, though. Oh, how I've grown. Now you actually go outside and touch grass. It's very cold in here. There's even snow formation. This tells me that the megastructure has an end and that there is a weather system just beyond where I am. Oh, how I've grown. Entry. Going back up is harder than I imagined. I have so little energy now that I need to ration the little food that I have left. Going down is always easier than going up. Excuse me. Hang on. Is this anything? I guess not. Pay your taxes, everybody. You could get free redeems for the month. As in, everything will be refunded that you've paid. It's worthless if you haven't been spending. But you could. This is back at the beginning. Is this the fence that they were talking about? I guess so. Okay. Still saying to sit down here. Think I found it? This area is blue. Earlier, when something was blue, that meant there was a message. Yeah. These are not pipes. Drilling into them, it appears that they are solid metal. They must have been load-bearing at some point. So I'm just, like, following the track of someone's climb. Entry. I found my previous base camp, at least. It seems I left behind some food. There is hope yet. Entry. My food is almost out. I realize that I'm blocking cut. It has taken years to get down to where I was. I don't know if I have a choice but to keep going back. I'm almost at another base camp. I can only hope I left some supplies. Just stay focused. I owe a lot to these ledges. Were it not for them, I would have no place to rest. The only option would be to pitch a tent on the walls. Who knows how long that would last? Kind of impressive how many materials you have for these tents, you know? The winches I've set up to bring supplies have been instrumental, but my requests for more supplies haven't been fulfilled recently. Entry. I just remembered there was a relay station through a long pipe just up ahead. I'm very weak and low on food, but I can do it. I've decided to sleep one night before continuing. Hey, it's right here. The guitar I brought finally came in handy. I recorded myself my favorite song onto Danny so that he plays it while online. Now I can find him if he's stuck. Aren't I clever? I think that's what's playing right now. I must be Danny. I am Daniel. I am become Daniel. I did it. I managed to make it down the pipes. I've even managed to secure a winch on the other end in case I need to go back this way. Things are going well, but you never know. This has taken almost my entire life. My life's work. Why did I do this alone? Oh. Primary researcher located. Subject deceased. Objective complete. Shutting down permanently, enabling black box mode. So it looks like he made it to the top and it was sealed. Okay. So in media, there is a thing, and I've spoken about this tons of times before. It is a rule that I utilize in my YouTube videos. Not so much in streams. It's kind of harder to nail with streams. You just kind of got to be natural. But there's a rule called the peak end rule. Right? I'm going to make that a little bit more over. Called the peak end rule. Basically, what it is time versus, let's call it, I mean enjoyment by me writing this, but that's too long and I am lazy, so I'm just going to write enjoy. So basically what it means is, let's say that this is the end of the project, right? This works for all media, right? This works for every single bit of media, be that a song, a YouTube video, a video game, a movie, whatever the hell. Every single type of media, this is true, including streams. But again, streams are natural, so it's kind of hard to pull off. But it's called the peak end rule, and this is why. Basically, what it means is at some point during the content, right, it needs to basically look like this. It can go down, and then there needs to be a peak somewhere, and then it goes down, 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 and then right before it reaches the end, which is right here, right, you have to go back up, and you have to reach the high. That's what the peak end rule means. It means that there is both a peak, and it peaks again at the end. You need some point that is heightened, that is better than everything else, and the ending needs to either match or come near that peak. These need to be somewhere close to each other. The reason I started the way that I did is because nowadays we've learned that there is also a hook needed, a thing that gets the person to stay in that content. You need some sort of hook. So I put this somewhere right here. In reality, it should probably be like around here-ish, maybe. But like regardless, the beginning kind of needs to be somewhat good as well, right? This is the peak end rule. By forming your media like this, again, any media, movie, video game, whatever, by forming your media like this is what results in a person enjoying that thing. By having some moment that is memorable and is a big deal to them, and by having the ending be good, right? That makes it so that anything is so fucking good. Anything is looked at as amazing. Let's use one of the most notorious things in media that was so good and then was bad at the very end, Game of Thrones. Most people agree, there are some outliers here, but most people agree that the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones are bad. Most people do not like those final 2 seasons, right? It didn't nail the end. It failed to do the end part of that, right? However, Game of Thrones, before those last 2 seasons, was one of the best television shows in existence, period, right? Like, it was either that or Breaking Bad, right? Like, it is one of the best television shows in existence. All the way up until season 6, a lot of people point to the Battle of the Bastards being the final point of the amazingness, right? But all the way here, right? Like, this is season 1 right here. And then this is like season 5 and 6. Some people would argue 4. And then this is all the way down to 7 and 8. They ended here. They didn't end with the peak. And that's why people don't like Game of Thrones. This is every single bit of media. And now that you know this, now that you are aware of this, you'll start to notice it when you watch videos and movies and so on and so forth. You'll notice that they follow this peak end rule, because this is just how media works. So when we're playing these games, right? My reminder that I fucking got croissant, right? So when we're playing these games, they're not following that rule set. And granted, asterisk, this is all like a game jam thing. A lot of these games were made in like a week or something. I don't know what their time span was. So like, granted, grain of salt. These games were made in a very short time. It's not necessarily their fault all the time. When you have such a limited time, it's hard to make a finished and amazing product. But the problem with that game, with Far From Home that we just experienced, the problem with that game, I would argue that that ending was pretty decent. The reveal that he's dead, right? However, it never had a peak. Therefore, it ends up feeling lackluster, right? So in turn, for me, again, this is another one of those cases where I would say what I experienced was good. It had a story. It had decent... it was like a walking sim kind of thing. The art was good. The music was repetitive, but good. So, like, again, this is one of those cases where, like, I would say that this was a good game, But I wouldn't say that it's something that I would recommend someone. I don't think that majority of people would enjoy the time that they just spent. That 10 minutes that it takes to finish this game, right? I don't think majority of people would enjoy that. So, it's a 4.